Hello,
Oh,
my friends, and welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I am Christine, your host, and today we are joined by my longtime extra daughter, Marla, Chef Marla, and she's going to talk to us about her journey as it relates to being a chef, being a woman in this field, and all those good things, and now being a mom. So, Marla, Marla's in Texas, by the way, and I'm in North Carolina. So, but I did just get to see her for my daughter's wedding, so it's always great. So, Marla, tell me about how your journey began. How did you know that you just loved food and wanted to be a chef?
um, I guess I'd always like worked at a restaurant. Ever since I was 16, I'd worked in a restaurant, and so I guess just seeing other entrepreneur like working for the neighborhood pizzeria or whatever, learning about like what it took to be the restaurant owner was kind of what was intriguing to me, but also like becoming friends with the kitchen workers, and they were like, "Oh, we'll make you stuff that's not on the menu." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I can come up with whatever I want." And so then that always was, like more interesting than just what everybody else got. And I got to be a little creative. I remember I worked with a guy who was from Albania, and he like made sure every day when we would work together, like a long day and everyone was working a double, that we would sit down and eat together. And so like that community and camaraderie of like working with the kitchen and not just being like a waitress was
Yeah, you
important,
become a
and I had
family.
fun. Yeah, it was like a family for sure.
Right.
And it
And it was
and
like
it
that
just made
when
it more fun.
yeah. Well, it was like that for me when you were in school and you came to live with us. You've always been like an extra daughter. So,
Yeah.
and I've been so proud of your journey. And I know you're not going to brag on yourself, so I'm going to brag on you for everybody. So, I got the pleasure of watching Marla win Chopped on Food Network. Yes, I even have a recording of it so I can watch it again and again. Your journey has been amazing, and I have loved to watch it. And you're not only good with savory dishes and sweet dishes, but you're a great baker, and you do it all. And so now you've ventured to motherhood, and
Yeah.
that's a great adventure in itself. But I like that you still have your hand in culinary too. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what is the difference between, we all hear fast food, right? And you can show everybody you have a tattoo that says slow food. And what is the difference in slow food versus fast food? I mean, not just the cooking preparation, but the whole mindset.
So in 2008, I went to the Terra Madre, which is the big slow food conference in Torino, Italy. And so I got to hear from like the people who started slow food. And the Italians really are the ones that like the driving force behind like spreading their hyper local ideas and way of lifestyle and way of eating with the food world, and slow food was the mantra that it took on because there was like a lot of backlash about like eating like Americans do as quickly as possible instead of eating for enjoyment and savoring the food, but also like not thinking about how food becomes from the ground to your plate and how slow that process really is, and getting people to kind of think about that and slow down and think about why are we eating, what are we eating, and you know not just I need food, put food in my mouth, drive
Right.
through, put crap in my mouth, and
Right.
just just to keep the machine going. And
Right. It's really
so
about, it's not just, I think, if I'm correct, it's not just about the food, but it's also about the experience of eating and
yeah.
being with family and really bringing back to the table. And that's one of the things I'm trying to do with this podcast and with the classes that I teach, is to bring people back to the kitchen, making their own food, taking control of that food being fuel. So not just throw it in, but really put
Yeah,
some thought into it. And it doesn't have to take a long time. Just has to, you have to put the effort in, but it's so worth it. Wouldn't you agree? I mean,
it's
it's
so it's so much better too. Like if are eating what is grown around you, it tastes better because it's better in season. It's not been sitting in a cargo ship to cross the country or, from country to country in most cases. Like eating a tomato off the vine in your backyard versus eating a tomato out of the grocery store, it's like 100 miles difference.
Yes, it's so I mean, you
And
can taste the difference right away. And as someone who doesn't have a particularly green thumb, I love to utilize the local farmers market. I love knowing where my food comes from and the people that grow it, whether it's vegetables or, beef or mushrooms or whatever. There's so much local produce around for me, and you might have to search it out, but it's so worth it to know where your food comes from. I've tried again and again to grow everything, and some success on some things, and
sometimes it works.
but one time I had this beautiful zucchini. I was so proud of it. It was just beautiful. It had beautiful blossoms. And the next day I came out and it was completely gone. Like some bug got after it and it was
Yeah.
nothing but little vines dead all over. It was just
Yeah.
so sad.
Take advantage of it when it's right in its moment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. But tell me a little bit about the transition from working every day with food to, being a mom. I mean, have you been able to introduce Marisol to regular real food? I mean, people always
yeah,
tell me, "Oh, it's so hard to get kids to eat real food." I don't think it is. I think they
I
just
don't think it is either. I think it's about the example that you set. And uh, I definitely have bought into like the child-led weaning and letting the kid, choose what they want to eat and play with food as part of like learning to eat. But I think a lot of getting her to eat is showing her what I eat. And 90% of the time now that she's eating on her own, she wants to eat what I'm eating.
Right.
And she doesn't even know what that is sometimes, but she wants to eat it because that's what mom's eating. And so we always make a point, now that I'm, fortunate enough to be at home and not working, that we get to sit down and eat breakfast and lunch and dinner together. And so
I love
that's
that.
part of her routine is we sit down at the table and we eat a meal and everybody eats the same foods. And so then she just eats whatever we're eating. And so I make a point to always offer her fruits and vegetables and not just what everybody else wants to eat, which is a lot of times meat and potatoes. But I make a point that like, okay, we're also going to have salad or we're going to have
Right.
something green or a fruit with our meal.
Yeah,
And
I love that. And does she do spice well? Because in Texas, everything seems spicy.
she definitely will tolerate some spice. She's not like big on tons of spice, but like pico de gallo is one of her favorite things, and there's fresh jalapeno in it, and she doesn't seem to mind. So,
I found the
like
same to be true.
she's definitely the sponge. If like you say, "Ooh, this is spicy," you might not like it. She says spicy, and then she's like, "Okay, I don't know, maybe it is too spicy."
It's
But
adorable. Oh my
I
gosh, she's
mean,
so cute.
she loves her runny eggs and toast and in the morning and like sopping up the egg with the toast because that's the way mommy eats it. And that's the way
Exactly.
Nana eats it. And that's the way,
And then
she
it's
sees.
funny because, it's that way with with Ronan too, my grandson. I mean, like whatever I eat, he wants, and whatever Drew has, he wants. And his mom and dad, same thing. He wants what everybody else is having. And so
Yeah.
like fast food is kind of a foreign concept to him. He doesn't really, that's not something he's used to. He eats out a lot at restaurants, but it's usually, regular restaurants versus fast food. Now he
Yeah.
has found the playlands in those places, and that's all he really cares about. Like, okay, let me go play.
Yeah. Well, and French fries, it's kind of like the thing. I think anytime if we're like, okay, this is our only option, then I know like I would eat French fries, so she's gonna eat French fries.
I'm with you.
Um, but beyond that, like I try not to make it a habit of like giving her a happy meal because that's not what I would eat. And so
Right,
then I don't want her thinking like, oh, we're just here for the toys and
right. Yeah, no, I get it. I completely get it. So the only time we usually have our Tuesday date at Chick-fil-A, and really Ronan only cares about the play area. Like he
I'm
doesn't
here
really
for
care
the
about
fun.
the food. Yeah, he's there for like, he runs in, he goes right to the play area, doesn't care. And quite honestly, I mean, when you're used to real food, that doesn't actually taste very good, even for
Right.
kids. Like, if I said, "Do you want a shake?" He would say yes, because that's got the cherry and the whipped cream. But, for the most part, even with my kids as they were growing up, it was all about real food. Now, I did my kids a great disservice in the fact that I had tons and tons of baked goods around all the time. So they developed, Jess doesn't have much of a sweet tooth, but Dan does. But really, having that stuff available along with real foods, they kind of learned that that's kind of the way we go. But has Marisol picked up any habits of cooking with you? Has she cooked with you? That's one of my
Um,
passion things, cooking with
well,
kids.
I have to tell you that ever since we left your house, she has wanted to crack all the eggs
Oh yeah.
because
Go
she
Grandma Chris.
she cracked all the eggs with you, and she was like, "Oh, these eggs aren't like hard-boiled eggs. They aren't the same." But she does get her little she has her toddler stool so she can like stand up and be at the counter. And so she like cracks her egg and puts it in the pan, and then she says hot because she knows like that's the rest of the time is mommy's in charge.
I love it.
But
Ryan cracks all my
um
eggs too, but he goes and gets them himself, and then I end up with a giant mess.
yeah.
I'm not
So
watching.
we have the refrigerator on top and freezer on the bottom, so she can't get into the refrigerator yet.
So she's still a peanut. Ronan's
She's
gonna be
so
taller than
tiny.
me soon. He's 3.
Yeah.
Not that that's hard to beat, but in general, like kids want to learn. They want to learn to cook. They want
Mhm.
to learn about food. We can go into the grocery store and he can identify all the vegetables, even the obscure ones, which I think is super cool. And if I could just um wave a magic wand and get everybody back to cooking in the kitchen, even if it's super simple food, I think it would help family dynamics and it will help people's waistlines. It
Yeah.
just makes such a difference. Now, quick question about being a woman in the food industry. Did it ever bother you? Was it ever a thing? Like for me, it didn't matter. I was in pastry land, so like nobody cared. But
I think it meant more to other people, and so it bothered me when it bothered other people. And that I think mostly came into play when like I would be in a position of leadership,
mhm,
and then some men didn't want to have to like abide by a tiny little girl barking orders. And so
but you're
I
quite the
tried.
drill sergeant, so it's you can handle it.
Yeah. I mean, I got around it. I definitely it took time, like learning when to exert my, um,
Forcefulness.
role and be like, because I'm the boss, this is why we're doing it. And other ways of just saying, what would be better is if I showed you a way that would save you time or make that easier.
And you do it.
And have to kind of like soften a little bit more than I would think I needed to, but it went a long way.
Yeah,
So, you know, sometimes you feel that uh like I'm not supposed to be meek, and then I because I'm a woman, I people expect that out of me, so I need to be the opposite, and that wasn't always helpful. So sometimes just being like the nurturer and momming a little bit was easier and got like more receptiveness from working with
results
all men and with quite a lot of men outside my culture, was
was the
very
way.
common. So finding what worked sometimes had to be a little bit more like praise happy
That's
than I would
great.
normally be.
Listen, I think that's a great way to go. Who doesn't want to go to work and feel like they're being praised or recognized or mentored? I think that's a much better way to go than to constantly point out something that somebody's doing wrong.
Yeah.
Um, tell me, what's your favorite thing to cook, to bake, anything? Just pick something that you love the best to make.
Um, I mean, I still really love bread. I still like that's probably one of those like it's comforting to when you're making it, when you smell the bread out of the oven, but also it's probably like one of my biggest weakness. Like fresh bread is hard to resist, just
Yeah,
like bread and
have it over here,
butter.
have it over here. have it over
Yeah. Well, like I can pass up a lot of sugar. I can pass up a lot of things that are sweet that other people love. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I might have a bite, but I'll eat a cookie over a cake. I'll have a a taste, but
Yeah.
I don't need a whole loaf of bread.
Give me a whole
I
loaf of
might
bread
eat a
and
whole
some
bread.
Kerrygold butter, and I'm good. I'm really
Yeah.
good. Yes. You'll laugh at me this morning. I was making a big old sourdough bread that had been fermenting in the fridge for 48 hours, and it was beautiful. And I got a phone call and forgot it was in the oven. And now I have this beautiful black sourdough bread. It's like, oh yes, I've been a baker for 30 years. Oh, good me. Whoopsies. But you know
Yeah,
what? It happens to all of us. But it still smells really good in here. So that's all that matters. Didn't get the
yeah, it gets your mouth watering.
yeah.
That's for
For
sure.
sure. Yes, yes. Well, I sure miss you, and I thank you so much for joining us. And if you would love to, I would love for you to send me a recipe that I can share with everybody.
Okay.
Make it something simple. It can be just any kind of anything that you like to make, and I will definitely share it with everybody. And I thank you so much for being with us. And I just think it's so great for people to understand the difference between, on the go eating and really taking time to eat. And just, I hope that this inspires people to get into the kitchen and really cook for themselves. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Hang out for
Yeah,
just a
thank
second
you.
for me. And if you guys have liked this episode, please consider rating us on Apple Podcasts and leaving us a review. And I wish you all a blessed day. And